You guys know I'm not necessarily one to like awooga max over gear. I'm a firm believer in using what you have and that gear isn't the be all and end all of the creative process. However, I picked up a few pieces of kit over the last couple of months and I wanted to talk about it. To you guys, my precious little eggies. Did you know they shot Interstellar with this lens? That's gonna be my "they took a Hasselblad to the moon" meme. It is kind of funny because I see a lot of people saying this online and yet I also can't confirm if it's true. Shot on what doesn't seem to think it's true. But then again, it is listed on IMDb, so I don't know. But it doesn't matter because it was true enough for me. So I stalked it out on eBay and I bought one, and let me tell you, this lens is glorious. It is sex, dude. It's sex in a lens. But you gotta respect her. Because the biggest thing I've learned about this lens so far is she will humble you. The depth of field is so razor thin. It's so easy to miss focus, but when you nail it, it's out of this world. That's an Interstellar joke, ladies and gentlemen. I've been telling everyone to be patient with me while I focus this lens because it takes me
7 years.
The bokeh is absolutely beautiful. Backgrounds just dissolve into nothing. I've seen people say online that the 35mm full frame equivalent to this f1.9 is about 1.2, and the 80mm would roughly equate to 50mm on full frame.
That's relativity, folks.
The majority of my time on this lens has so far been with my beloved Mamiya 645. But despite shooting an assload of rolls of film, I am far from an expert with this lens. I really don't like being one of those cringy, hey, I use this thing for the afternoon, so obviously I'm an expert. And this is completely unrelated, but here's my favorite Interstellar meme. I couldn't find a natural place to put it into the video. I've also been messing around with this lens on digital. I've been adapting it onto my FX30 with really beautiful results. I don't know why, but using focus peaking does slightly feel like cheating, but just like duplicating Zonai parts in Zelda in order to build elaborate skeletal horse transportation units is part of the game, so I'm gonna use it. I've also been dabbling with Cine EI. All of this footage was actually captured using Cine EI, but I'm far too new to the game to speak on it with any sort of authority. So far, I really like the workflow, and the results look outstanding. If you're wondering, I graded all this footage using Dehancer. I have a video review about that, which you can check out after this one. Zhiyun sent me this light, full disclosure, but this is not sponsored or affiliated in any sort of way. I haven't used this light as much as I would have liked, so consider this a first impression sort of thing, but so far, mostly good. It's an RGB light, it's pretty damn bright, it's lightweight, and my personal favorite little bit, it has an Epic Gamer fan. Very cool. I brought it with me on a shoot with my friend Kristen, and I really love the results.
It's a video.
It comes with a diffusion panel, which in my opinion is a must. It really helps break up the light and make it rather smooth and easy to work with. Plus, the squishy nature of it is just kind of fun to play with. The menu system is not great. You get these little tipples to flick and click through a bunch of menus. It's kind of fiddly, honestly. And I accidentally shifted it into Chinese a few times, which was not helpful. It would be if you can read Chinese, I suppose.
How does that light make you feel?
Makes me feel like I am teaching a toddler how to read.
The light also has a few cool pre-programmed effects like lightning and shit like that. It charges via USB-C and battery life is pretty decent unless you're using it at full blast. If you operate this thing on full blast, it dies in like less than half an hour. It does run while being plugged into a power bank, which is really cool, though that does defeat the purpose of like a small footprint sort of light, you know? It comes with a shoe mount and a clippy phone or laptop mount, and I gotta tell you, I haven't really used either of them. I've gone in favor of using just a magic arm and mounting it onto the camera itself. I also super clamped it onto a railing, and if you don't have one of these in your camera bag, you gotta get one. I also was really lucky and had access to a K stand. Kristen held the light. I also used the CM15 to light all the B-roll in this video, except for the B-roll of the CM15. There's also a 10% off discount code in the description below. This is not affiliated to me in any way, it's just a generic discount if you're interested in picking up your own CM15. Moving on to the stupid corner, I bought this cute little straw hat to live on my camera's shoe. It doesn't traditionally do anything, but it does make me think, what would Luffy do right now? And I think that makes me at least 2% better at photography. I've been trying to focus on shooting more live music this summer, and it just so happens that one of my favorite local bands from when I was a teenager got back together, the Silver Metal. They are an incredible blend of hardcore, metal, rock, and they just have a sound that I could only describe as the Bronx. You just kinda gotta be there. I have so much love for these guys. Brian is a legend. His voice is literally not of this earth. He's been on the channel before. You probably recognize him from Lords of the Sun. Stefan and I go way back. He basically was one of my mentors when I was a teenager. Real shit, he helped me navigate through the cringe years of having like no confidence in anything I made. He also happens to be a guitar wizard and one of the funniest people I've ever met. Mazzola and I have an extremely special bond too. We practically lived together back when he was the drummer in my two bands. And Alex is such a talented soul. He's the kind of dude you hear play and he just makes you want to get better. But I digress. You're here to talk about camera gear. Sorry, I just needed to sing the praises of my friends. I picked up the TT Artisans 7.5mm fisheye for my Fuji X-T4. It completes my holy trinity of weird focal lengths. I have the 23, I have the 56, and now I have the 7.5. I seriously can't believe how much use I've gotten out of this lens already. This lens is so fun to mess around with. It's not exactly something I would call sharp, especially when you shoot it wide open at f2. At that range, it's about as sharp as the front element of the lens. When you stop it down or you combine it with a flash, it gets way sharper. But honestly, you don't buy a lens like this for sharpness. You grab it for the mojo. You grab it for the vibe, for the vibe, for the vibe. I really love this lens and it's pretty cheap, so that's a plus. Here are the big issues I have with it so far though. First off, the design ain't it, chief. I do like that the lens cap is metal and it unscrews so you can actually sneak a filter on it. I've actually never seen something like that before. It just doesn't sit on the fucking thing right and it falls off constantly. That seems to be a theme on the channel lately. This could easily be rectified in a new version of the lens if you just make these little side elements of the lens hood sort of thing jut out to the same distance so that the lens cap just sits on there properly. And the other thing is the front element, man. No matter what I do, it is constantly dirty. It's like that little booger kid from Zelda is constantly squeezing on it. My go-to digital setup for live music this summer has been this lens with the Reflex Lab Mini Flash. I did a full review of that one, so make sure you go check that out. I also started testing out the Reflex Lab Simple Flash. It's really confusing with how those are named, I know, but the too long didn't read is I much prefer the Mini Flash over the Simple Flash. The Mini Flash has a lot of shortcomings, but the Simple Flash is just way slower. The rate at which it recharges almost makes it unusable for what I'm doing. And it's kind of funny, not like haha funny, but Reflex Lab sent me the Mini Flash for free, and I paid for the Simple Flash. Okay, this is also a big one. If you've been following me for a while, you might know about my love affair with the Fujifilm GA645Zi, aka the medium format point and shoot. I adore this big chungus, but mine shit the bed. I was devastated, but this wonderful company in Poland called Fototech Service, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, absolutely hooked me up. They actually found me through my YouTube video and hit me up to repair the camera. So it's good as new now. If you're ever in the same boat as me and you can't live without your GA645Zi, consider giving them a ring and tell them I sent you. I don't think you'll get a discount, but at least they'll know I said nice things about them. They also fix other cameras, so go check them out on Instagram. This summer has been two beautiful, unforgettable reunions. The Silver Metal reassembling one of my favorite bands, and Fototech Service reunited me with my GA645. And honestly, during this summer, I found a new appreciation for my GA645 in the context of live music. It's giving me this perfect blend of semi-automatic shooting. So, that sounded funny. It's giving me this perfect blend of like shooting in aperture priority mode so that I can tap in and both enjoy the show and be more present while still being busy bigly tapped into my film shit. Everybody wins. So expect more GA645Zi stuff in the future. What a long camera name. All right, my precious little eggies, this is a new format and I always want to hear what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below. If you dig it, maybe I'll do a sort of quarterly gear roundup. I don't know. Let me know what you think. All right, bye.
Like and subscribe. Sweet Lou Photography. Domain.